You've been conditioned to be likable, shaped to keep harmony, to agree, to be good. But Carl Jung would say that goodness is a mask, and if you're not mindful, it turns into a cell. Because pleasing others doesn't make you compassionate, it makes you disappear. You don't gain more respect by always agreeing. You don't gain more affection by being easy to be around. You don't gain more calm by avoiding friction. You just fade quietly, unnoticed. You think you're being helpful, cooperative, supportive. But in truth, you're abandoning yourself. And every time you do, you show the world that your needs are irrelevant, your time is elastic, your boundaries are negotiable, and your silence equals consent. Jung didn't view people-pleasing as mere politeness. He saw it as a hidden shadow, a behavioral mask to shield you from rejection, confrontation, or separation. But here's the reality. The more you please, the more you'll be taken advantage of, not because everyone's malicious, but because humans respond to what you permit. And if you never reveal the parts of you that want to say no, that want to push back, that want solitude, you turn into an outline, a mold shaped to fit into others' expectations. One day, you'll wake up wondering why you're exhausted, why you're bitter, why you feel inauthentic, why no one truly sees you. Jung had a term for this, the persona, the face you were instructed to wear. The persona is the you trained by parents, culture, teachers to be acceptable, to fit in, to earn praise, to avoid punishment, to survive. And you needed that. In some ways, you still do. You can't walk through life blurting every thought or indulging every urge. You need a social mask for roles, for order, for harmony. But here's the trap Jung warned of. When you confuse the mask with your actual identity, you lose your soul. Because you're not here to be agreeable. You're here to be authentic. You're not here to squeeze into someone else's narrative. You're here to author your own. And you can't do that if your first move is always to keep others comfortable. This is the revelation people-pleasers rarely face until much later. Every time you dodge a no, you say yes to erasing yourself. The steep price of being likable. You think the cost of honesty is conflict, but the real cost is resentment. You think saying no is selfish, but the real selfishness is staying quiet while secretly resenting others for not reading. Your mind, you think chasing approval is noble, but the truer nobility is having boundaries so unmistakable that no one has to guess who you are. Jung knew that repression bends reality. When you bottle up your anger, instincts, or voice, you don't become gentler, you turn passive-aggressive, bitter, disconnected, because deep down you know you're not being truthful. You're performing, editing yourself, managing others' feelings instead of expressing your own. Eventually, your body shows it. Chronic fatigue, burnout, detachment, fear of displeasing, obsessive overthinking of every reply, endless analysis of interactions. That's not sensitivity, that's emotional captivity. And it worsens because the more you please, the more you train others to expect your compliance. You're teaching them to step over you. And they will not always from cruelty, but because you've said yes so often, they no longer believe you possess a no. You cannot be truly loved if you're not truly known. The people you work so hard to please, they don't know the real you. They only know the version you've allowed them to see. And now you're scared to change, because if you suddenly hold boundaries, they'll say you've changed, that you're selfish, that you've turned cold. But that's not the truth. The truth is, they've become accustomed to your silence, your softness, your compliance. When you start speaking honestly, it feels like aggression, not because you're harming them, but because your honesty is finally protecting you. Jung would say, this is the moment where individuation begins. Individuation isn't self-improvement, it's self-possession. It's the process of becoming a full, integrated human being with a backbone, a shadow, a voice, and a no that matters. Until you arrive there, you'll always feel that subtle hollowness, that something's off, that your life isn't truly yours. That's not depression, that's your real self pounding on the door, trying to scream past the fake smiles, trying to slice through the agreeable emails, trying to shatter the script you've been reciting for years. And the sole exit is to stop pleasing. When you stop, people will feel uneasy. Some will get mad. Some will leave. Some will attempt to guilt you into being soft again. Let them. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. Because you're not here to be everyone's comfort blanket. You're here to be whole. You're here to voice what must be said, to draw boundaries that may disappoint but guard your soul, to walk away from those who only loved you when you were easy to control. Jung would insist this isn't selfish, it's your awakening. And now we explore the psychology of that awakening, why people-pleasing is born from childhood survival, how to notice when your persona is in charge, and how to break the cycle without destroying your connections or yourself. Jung never called it people-pleasing. He called it self-betrayal. Because you weren't born to seek universal approval. You didn't enter life hoping to pacify everyone. You weren't designed to say yes when you meant no. You weren't built to bury your truth for the sake of calm. You were trained, into it shaped, conditioned. The cruelest part is you mistook it for love. You assumed staying quiet meant maturity. You assumed sacrificing your needs meant generosity. You assumed suppressing feelings meant strength. But in truth, it made you vanish. And the person others admire, rely on, praise, isn't the real you. It's the persona. How the persona forms. Jung described it as the social mask you wear to endure the demands of the world. It's not a lie, it's a function. You wear it to move through school, family, relationships, work. It helps you blend in, to get by. But when you forget where the mask ends and you begin, you lose the one thing that makes life genuine. Authenticity. Chronic people-pleasers fall into this because, in childhood, they learned honesty brought rejection, that showing anger brought punishment, that having needs made them selfish. So they adapted, smiled when they wanted to cry, agreed when they wanted to scream, shrank so others could feel tall. They learned love was conditional, earned through performance, and the mask became their permanent face. What Jung saw that modern psychology often misses. Most self-help advice says speak up, set limits, take personal time, that's fine. But Jung went deeper. He believed people-pleasing isn't just a habit issue, it's a fracture of the soul. Because when you repeatedly abandon your authentic self, you don't just misplace your voice, you misplace your very identity. You start wondering, who am I without this role? What if people vanish when I stop giving? Will anyone remain if I finally speak my truth? These fears aren't shallow, they're existential. Your survival once hinged on being liked, and now you've confused approval with safety. But the truth is, every time you choose safety over honesty, you forfeit another piece of yourself. You turn into someone people count on, but no one truly knows. Here's the quiet truth, most people-pleasers never confess. You may get affection, but it never feels real, because deep down you know they're loving a crafted version, the agreeable you, the dependable you, the ever-flexible you. But what happens when you're worn out, when you set limits, when you say no more? That's when the approval evaporates, leaving guilt, silence, and self-doubt. Jung would say, good, because that's the doorway to your real life. Individuation, becoming whole, not liked. Jung's concept of individuation is the cure for people-pleasing. It's reuniting with your shadow, the traits you exiled to stay accepted, your anger, selfishness, pride, truth. Individuation isn't perfection, it's completeness. It's saying, yes, I care for others, but I care for myself, too. Yes, I want harmony, but not at the expense of my truth. Yes, I love you, but I won't abandon me to keep you. That's not rebellion, it's adulthood. And if someone can't live with that, release them. Jung believed the self doesn't emerge from approval. It emerges through friction, through facing those who depended on your silence, through disappointing those who only valued your compliance, through risking rejection to be real. The irony is, when you stop pleasing, you don't lose all relationships. You lose the lopsided ones. You lose those who benefited from your self-erasure, and make room for those who see and love you without trying to control you. How to tell if your persona's steering the wheel? Jung said, the persona is dangerous when it becomes too rigid. When you're always the strong one, the nice one, the calm one, the understanding one, then it's not a tool, it's a cage. You'll know you're trapped when socializing leaves you drained, when you second-guess every choice, when you fear disappointing others, when yes comes from fear instead of desire, when you feel unseen even by those close to you. These aren't minor issues, they're signs your sense of self is buckling under the weight of performance. The longer you fake it, the more lost you become, not because you're weak, but because the mask has become so convincing even you can't tell where it stops. The good news, the moment you see this, you can change. No permission required, no universal understanding needed. Just courage. Courage to pause before saying yes. Courage to let others feel disappointed. Courage to step away from approval. Toward authenticity. Jung didn't want you rude or cold. He wanted you so anchored in truth that no one could ever exploit you again. Here's how. 1. Recognize the guilt loop for what it is. When you first quit pleasing, guilt will flood. You, in your gut, your throat, your silence. You'll feel cruel, like you're failing people, like you're wrong. Jung would say, this is not guilt, this is withdrawal. You're detoxing from a lifetime of approval, addiction. That discomfort, it's the weight of reclaiming your power after years of surrendering it. Heavy doesn't mean wrong, it means movement. Let guilt rise. Don't resist it, don't dissect it, just feel it and act rightly anyway. That's how power returns, when guilt stops ruling your actions. To redefine your worth, people pleasers base value on usefulness. If you're helpful, you're worthy, needed, you're safe, liked, you're important. Jung would tell you this isn't worth its conditional performance. The danger, once you stop being useful, you feel disposable. The task is tough but simple. Anchor your worth in truth, presence, boundaries, and the ability to be fully yourself, even when others dislike it. Your value lives in not betraying yourself, not in overgiving to others. 3. Learn to disappoint, without apology. Make this a milestone. You can let people down and still be kind, good, and worthy. You can say no without over-explaining, without apologizing, without cushioning it to protect their feelings. Every time you dilute a boundary to spare someone's emotions, you feed the lie that your needs are dangerous. They aren't, they're sacred. Jung believed shadow integration creates wholeness. Your ability to be misunderstood without collapsing is part of that work. You're not here to manage every feeling around you. You're here to be steady in who you are, especially when people don't get it. For start small, stay firm. No big declarations needed. No proving your confidence. No debating every skeptic. Begin quietly. Delay responses. Skip unnecessary explanations. Avoid over-apologizing. Offer only what you truly want to give. Keep it calm. Keep it consistent. Slowly, people adjust. They stop pressing, stop assuming, stop draining you because you've trained them through steady boundaries and quiet presence that you're done pleasing. You're here for wholeness. 5. Embody the new standard. When you quit pleasing, certain people leave. Let them. It's proof they loved your compliance, not you. In their place will come those who respect your quiet, match your honesty, support your growth, and value your truth over your performance. This only works if you live the standard, not just once, not only when easy, but daily, in every conversation, where the old urge to bend returns. Don't bend. Hold the line. Breathe. Every time you refuse to betray yourself, you grow stronger. That strength, that calm, grounded self-possession, is what Jung said transforms you. Not outer success, not praise, but inner integrity. Final words. You'll end people-pleasing after this, not from coldness, but from consciousness. Jung never wanted cruelty. He wanted you awake. He wanted you to stop performing, stop fawning, stop pouring out your soul for those who wouldn't even hand you a bandage. He wanted you clear in your no, honest in your presence, steady in discomfort, whole even when others disapprove. Because the truly healed aren't always liked, they're free.